Take a step back in time with me to 7 years ago, when I first wrote these thoughts down on paper just after the Boston Marathon bombing killed 3 people and injured 16 others, including some runners who went back into the chaos to help those who couldn't get to safety. They inspired me then, and they inspire me now. In 2011, my good friend, Chris Nuss, was killed in a fatal car accident. He was 22 years old. 16-year-old James Henry was ejected from the same car and killed as well. It hurt. When I heard the news, I cried. That same week, a close family friend from the day I was born, Pastor Norm Livingston, passed away. I wept. A couple months later, my Aunt Mary, someone who was there for me my entire life and whom I loved dearly, died from various health complications. I sang at her funeral and barely made it through the first verse of her favorite song before I couldn't go on any longer. I grieved deeply. Not even 6 months later, I sat next to Leah in my Uncle Gary's living room and watched him die. When my grandpa, who was the strongest man I'd ever known, fought against quivering lips that were displaying his sadness, I couldn't stop the tears from coming into my own eyes. And within 24 hours, my own pastor, Doris Schwartz, finished her battle with cancer and died. That was a hard week. Then, just a few months later, one of the best guys I had ever known, been inspired by, and come to love dearly, Aaron Michael Cox, passed away at the age of 22. I still get emotional thinking about how I'll never see him again. That was a hard month. Last week, I sang at my great-grandmother's funeral. There were no tears in my eyes, because there were none left. 7 people, 7 names, 7 loved ones. Chris, Norm, Mary, Gary, Doris, Aaron, Geneva. Last night I spent some time with my friend in the hospital. She has terrible asthma, not the kind of asthma that allows you to take an inhaler and get on with your day. This is the kind of asthma that closes up her lungs for days on end and forces her to be hooked up to a machine to breathe normally. I'm not mentioning her because I think she'll make number 8 on that list above, but because the time I spent with her last night really taught me some valuable lessons. Lessons that I wish I had known the last year, as 7 people whom I loved were taken from this world. When I think about the 2 disasters that occurred this week, first the Boston Marathon bombings and then the West Texas plant explosion, I'm drawn back to the lessons I've been learning from my friend. At one point, I looked at her, after sitting in silence for a while, and apologized for not having much to say or knowing what to say in the moment. She picked up her pen and paper because she couldn't speak and wrote down for me, "Just you being able to come here and sit with me is encouraging." My heart jumped into my throat. Later, as I tried to speak encouraging words to her and tears filled her eyes, I knew I was doing the right thing. She needed someone, and I was happy to have been given the opportunity to be that someone for her. In the last year, there have been 7 people in my life who died. 7 people I hadn't taken much time to talk with in the weeks and months leading up to their passing on. Yeah, I'd emailed my friend Aaron, called Chris, seen my Uncle Gary and Pastor Doris, but I hadn't really taken the time to show them how much they meant to me. Hadn't really sat down with them and told them I loved them and that I was grateful for what they had taught me. I don't grieve over the lost opportunities. That attitude just keeps my mind in the past and not on what the present is giving me. I seek the next opportunity to honor those 7 people. Opportunities that are popping up every single day. There are people now in Boston, Massachusetts, and West Texas who are struggling. People I can't possibly go meet or hug or listen to or grieve with. But there are 7 billion of us in this world. 7 billion names. 7 billion people connected by the common ability to help each other and show each other compassion in times of need. 7 billion runners going in the same direction towards life's Boston Marathon finish line. Though I can't be in those two cities to encourage the portion of the 7 billion people who are there and injured, I can encourage the fraction of 7 billion people listening to this now to go and do what is possible. I can encourage my friend in the hospital and show her love so that when she gets better, she can do the same for someone else. I can encourage you to take some time out of your busy day to go and say hello to someone you'd forgotten to catch up with. They might need that more than anything in the world right now. You never know when it will be the last opportunity to do so. You never know if the encouragement you give someone today will help them encourage someone else tomorrow. You never know when the next fire, cancer diagnosis, car accident, or terrorist bomb will affect some of the people in your own world. There are 7 billion runners in the race of life trying to experience as many fleeting moments of joy as they can between the start and finish lines. Don't let someone you care for deeply stop, even for a moment, and struggle alone. Sometimes we just need a hand to get back up again. Sometimes a word of encouragement to tell us to keep going. Sometimes a back to climb and be carried on. We can't do everything alone. We can't do anything at all when we think we're alone. But we are never actually alone. So let's not act like we don't need each other, need other people just as much as they need us. If you're alone in running, that's not a race that you can't win. If you're alone running the race and you cross the finish line alone, you came in last place even as you came in first. If you're running alone, there's no one with whom to celebrate at the finish line. If you're running alone and a nearby explosion causes you to fall, there won't be anyone else around to help pick you up. Good thing there's actually 7 billion other people running right there with you. We are not alone. You are not alone. Even if the best friends you have are those that you play Minecraft with from the other side of the world, you are not alone. We're running the race together. Never forget that. Run on. Thank you to my patrons who this video was made for. You helped me reach my first milestone, and you've helped get the boost I need to keep pressing after that finish line. Your friendship and support keeps me going strong.